Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a small confession. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they are too realistic. Yes, too realistic. We live in a world where everyone says be practical, have a backup plan, don't dream too big. But let me ask you something. When was the last time something practical changed the world? Nobody ever said, I had a very reasonable dream and history was made. No. Big things always start with uncomfortable ideas. So today, I want to share 5 steps to achieve any goal, not theory, not textbook motivation. Real life thinking that works when life is messy. Step 1 is choose a goal that makes you look crazy. Let's be honest. If your goal makes people say nice, your goal is too safe. But if your goal makes them laugh first, then say, yeah, okay. That's a good sign. Because every meaningful goal starts as a bad joke. Let me make this very real. You say you want to start a YouTube channel. Your friend says, everyone is doing that. You say you want to start a business. Someone says, now, in this economy, you say you want to change your life. People say, after this year, after that responsibility, after some time, that sometime never comes. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Confidence doesn't come first. Clarity doesn't come first. Support definitely doesn't come first. First comes confusion. Then comes embarrassment. Then, slowly, confidence shows up. Every successful person has screenshots of old work they hope nobody finds. Now let me give you a famous example you probably didn't hear in motivational speeches. Before becoming a global icon, Rihanna was told she wasn't marketable enough. Wrong look, wrong sound, wrong image. Today, she didn't just succeed in music. She built a beauty empire and became one of the wealthiest self-made women in the world. Same person. Same talent, different timing. The world didn't believe first, she did. Another example, Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, wanted to build a company focused on graphics processing when most people didn't even know what that meant. Back then, people thought graphics is just for games. Too small, too risky. Today, that small idea is powering artificial intelligence, medicine, cars, and the future. The idea wasn't crazy, it was just early. Now let's come back to you. Your crazy goal doesn't need to be famous. It needs to be honest. Maybe your crazy goal is being the first person in your family to stop struggling the same way. Maybe it's learning something new while your friends are just trying to survive Mondays. Maybe it's creating instead of just consuming. Maybe it's saying, I don't want this version of my life. If your goal doesn't make you slightly uncomfortable to say out loud, you're playing too safe. And listen, this part matters. A goal is not a contract, it's a direction. You don't need to know how it will work, you just need to decide where you're going. The how shows up when you start moving. Here's a quick test. Does this goal excite you? Does it scare you? Would you still try if nobody clapped? Would future you respect this decision? If yes, keep it quiet, protect it, work on it. Because explaining your dream to the wrong people is like trying to charge your phone with the wrong cable. Ladies and gentlemen, step 2 is stop waiting to feel ready. Let me say this clearly. Before your brain tries to negotiate with me, you will never feel ready. If you're waiting for confidence, motivation, money, time, or permission, congratulations, you've chosen the longest route to nowhere. Most people don't fail at their goals, they postpone them to death. They say, after I learn more, after I save more, after things settle down. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. Things never settle down. Life doesn't calm down and give you a green signal. Life pushes you while you're tying your shoes. Let's make this relatable. You want to start something. Your brain says, just one more week of planning. 1 week becomes 1 month. 1 month becomes 1 year. Now you don't even want the goal. You just feel guilty about it. That's not laziness. That's fear wearing a suit called preparation. Here's the funny part. You don't get clarity by thinking. You get clarity by doing something badly. Nobody starts good. They start awkward. The first video is bad. The first attempt is messy. The first version makes you cringe. And that's normal. Let me give you a famous example. Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks, didn't start with a global coffee empire. He started by trying to convince people that paying extra for coffee made sense. At the time, people said, why would anyone pay that much for coffee? Today, people pay that price without even thinking. He didn't wait until the idea felt perfect. He tested it while it was still uncomfortable. Another example. Oprah Winfrey was once told she was not fit for television. Too emotional, not the right look, not the right style. Imagine if she said, Maybe they're right. I'll wait until I feel ready. There would be no Oprah. Readiness didn't create her success. Movement did. Now let's bring this back to your life. You don't need to change everything today. You just need to start ugly. Send the message. Post the video. Learn the skill. Apply for the thing. Show up before you feel confident. Because confidence is not the entry ticket. It's the receipt you get after action. And here's the mistake most people make. They want to start when they feel fearless. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving while fear is sitting right next to you, judging you. So here's a simple rule you can use. If you have 60% clarity, that's enough. If you feel 70% ready, that's too much. Start before your brain talks you out of it. Because waiting feels safe. But waiting slowly kills momentum. And momentum is everything. Let me end this part with this. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a starting point. Start messy, start scared, start now. Step 3 is build systems, not motivation. Let's be honest for a second. Motivation is amazing for about 2 days. Day 1, you're unstoppable. New mindset, new playlist, you're fixing your whole life. Day 4, you're tired. Day 6, you're busy. Day 10, you're back to saying, I'll restart from Monday. That's not because you're weak. That's because motivation is emotional, and emotions are unstable. If motivation worked, nobody would have unfinished goals, half-read books, or gym memberships they don't use. Now let me make this very relatable. You don't wake up every day motivated to check your phone. You just do it. You don't debate whether to open Instagram. You don't need inspiration to scroll. Why? Because it's a system. Automatic. Effortless. No thinking involved. You don't brush your teeth because you're motivated. You brush them because it's a system. That's the same way progress needs to work. Most people try to change their life using excitement. That never lasts. People who actually change their life use structure. Let me give you a very real example. You want to work on something after a long day, but then you sit down, you check your phone for 5 minutes. Suddenly it's been 45. Now you're tired. Now you're annoyed. Now you say, tomorrow I'll do it properly. Sound familiar? That's not laziness. That's lack of a system. A system removes decision-making. Instead of asking, do I feel like it? The system says, this is what we do at this time. Another example. You want to learn a skill. So you tell yourself, I'll study for 1 hour daily. 1 hour sounds small until it's time to start. So your brain says, let's do it later when we have more energy. Later never comes. But what if the system was 10 minutes? No excuses. 10 minutes feels harmless. Your brain doesn't fight it. And once you start, you often continue. Systems trick your brain in a good way. Haruki Murakami, a world-famous writer, doesn't wait for inspiration. He writes at the same time every day, even when it feels boring, even when nothing exciting comes out. He trusts the system, not his mood. Another example. Serena Williams didn't train only on days she felt powerful. She trained on tired days, boring days, ordinary days. Champions aren't built on good days. They're built on average days. Now bring this back to your life. If your progress depends on motivation, your future depends on how you feel that day. That's risky. Because some days you feel confident, some days you feel lazy. Some days you feel like quitting everything. A system protects you from yourself. Instead of saying, I'll work when I'm motivated, say, at 8 p.m., I work for 15 minutes. No thinking, no drama, no debate, no waiting for the perfect mood. And here's the funny thing. Once the system is in place, motivation comes back. Because progress feels good. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. So stop asking, how do I stay motivated? Ask, what can I make automatic? Because the people who win are not more inspired than you. They're just more consistent on boring days. You don't need a life-changing routine. You need a repeatable one. Small, simple, boring, and that's exactly why it works. Step 4 is learn to survive the nothing is happening phase. This is the part nobody warns you about. Not the beginning is exciting. Not success looks good on camera. I'm talking about the middle. That quiet, boring, frustrating phase where you're doing the work but nothing is happening. No results, no praise, no proof, just effort. This is where most people quit. Not because they can't do it, but because they think it's not working. You start something new. First few days, you're excited. You tell yourself, this time is different. A few weeks pass. No one notices. No one comments. No one claps. Now the doubts start. Am I wasting my time? Is this even for me? Others are moving faster. And the worst one, maybe I'm just not built for this. That thought has ended more dreams than failure ever did. Here's the truth. Progress is invisible before it becomes obvious. But social media messed this up for us. We only see the highlight, the announcement, the success story. We don't see the months where nothing happened. Let me give you an example. You go to the gym, day 1, pain. Day 10, pain. Day 30, still pain. You look in the mirror and think, am I getting scammed? But your body is changing. Just slowly, quietly. Quit too early and you never see it. Same with any goal. Another relatable one. You start learning a skill. At first you improve fast. Then suddenly plateau. Same mistakes, same level, same frustration. That doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you've entered the growth zone. Now a famous example. J.K. Rowling was rejected multiple times before her book was accepted. Imagine how many days she thought, this is going nowhere. We talk about her success. We forget the silence before it. Another one. Stephen King once threw his manuscript in the trash. Someone else believed in it before the world did. Success didn't arrive because they were sure. It arrived because they didn't quit during the quiet part. Now let's bring it back to you. If you're in a phase where you're working, but not winning yet, you're trying, but not shining yet, you're improving, but not celebrated yet, you're not failing, you're early. The problem is, most people treat silence as rejection. It's not. It's preparation. Here's a rule you need to remember. If you quit during the boring phase, you restart from zero. If you stay, momentum builds quietly. And here's the funny thing. The day results show up, people say, wow, you're so lucky. They didn't see the months of nothing. Don't confuse no applause with no progress. Stay, repeat, trust the process longer than your emotions. Step 5 is raise your standards, or you'll slide back. Let me warn you about something nobody talks about. Reaching a goal is not the hardest part. Staying at that level is. Most people don't lose because they can't succeed. They lose because once things get better, they relax. They say, I made it. I deserve a break. I'll slow down a little. That little becomes a lot. Let's make this very relatable. You finally fix one area of your life. You feel proud. You feel comfortable. Then slowly, old habits start knocking. One missed day becomes 2. 2 becomes a week. Now you're telling yourself, it's okay. I already proved I can do it. And that's how progress quietly disappears. Not with drama, with comfort. Another relatable example. You start earning better. At first you're careful. Then lifestyle upgrades begin. Better food, more spending, less discipline. Your income went up, but your standards didn't. So nothing really changed. Here's the truth. Your life always moves toward the standard you tolerate. Not your goals, not your motivation, your standards. Let me give you a famous example. Michael Jordan didn't just raise his performance, he raised his standards. He expected excellence from himself every day. That's why even after winning, he trained like he was behind. That mindset kept him at the top. Another example. Rihanna didn't stop at music success. She raised her standards and built businesses that matched her vision. Success didn't make her lazy, it made her sharper. Now let's bring this back to you. When you start improving, don't lower the bar to feel comfortable. Raise the rules. Instead of saying, I'll work when I feel like it, say, this is who I am now. Identity beats motivation every time. You don't negotiate with who you believe you are. A disciplined person doesn't ask, should I do this today? They just do it. And here's the funny part. High standards don't make life harder. They make decisions easier. No drama, no overthinking, no restarting every few months. You just show up. Let me leave you with this final thought. Goals change your direction. Systems move you forward. Patience keeps you going. But standards decide where you stay. So don't just reach your goal. Become the kind of person who doesn't fall back, because the real win is not success. The real win is not having to start over again. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, let me warn you. If you don't delete these 5 things before 2026, your life will not explode. You won't suddenly fail. Nothing dramatic will happen. But something worse will happen. You will stay exactly the same. Same problems, same excuses, same results, and staying the same in a changing world is the most dangerous thing. We are going into a year where AI is exploding. Opportunities are everywhere. New careers are being born every month. And most people are still stuck with the same old habits that expired in 2015. Let me tell you something funny. People upgrade their iPhones every year, but they don't upgrade themselves for 10 years. They will wait 3 hours in line for a new phone, but won't spend 10 minutes to fix their mindset. So today, we are going to upgrade you. Before 2026 arrives, there are 5 things you must delete from your life if you want to grow and not get left behind. And the first one, oh, this one hurts. Ladies and gentlemen, before 2026 arrives, there's one thing you must delete from your life immediately. Your toxic, dramatic, unhealthy, over-emotional relationship with comfort. Yes, comfort. The thing that treats you worse than your worst ex. Comfort promises you everything, gives you nothing, and still expects loyalty. You know how it works. Every night you say, tomorrow I'll wake up at 6 a.m. and start my new life. And every morning at 6 a.m., your bed turns into heaven. You had big dreams last night, and now your bed has kidnapped you. And then there's the gym situation. You buy the shoes, the outfit, the bottle, the headphones, you are ready. You walk into the gym parking lot like, yes, today is my day. But the moment you step out of the car, comfort whispers, you know what? Start on Monday. But every Monday in your life is a public holiday. Monday has never seen you. Your gym subscription knows you only by name. Then there's Netflix. You go for 1 episode, just 1. And 5 hours later, Netflix asks, are you still watching? And you feel judged. Suddenly you know everything about a show you didn't even want to watch in the first place. And don't get me started on your sofa. That sofa is dangerous. You sit down for 5 minutes and boom, 2 hours disappear. You're scrolling and watching people who wake up at 5 a.m., people who built businesses, people who lost weight, people who turned their life around, while you're sitting there eating snacks like, good for them. Comfort is turning you into a spectator, not a player. And then there's TikTok or Reels. My friend, this one is deadly. A study said the average person spends around 95 minutes a day scrolling short videos. 95 minutes. That's not scrolling anymore. That's a part-time job. Imagine if you spent those same 95 minutes learning a skill, building a business, editing videos, reading something useful. By 2026, you'd be unstoppable. But comfort will never allow that. Comfort says, relax, one more reel. And suddenly it's 1 a.m. Your goals are crying, your brain is tired, and comfort is like, good job, king. Cristiano Ronaldo says he never sleeps before finishing his workout. One time his friends invited him to dinner at 11 p.m. He literally said, I can come after training. Tuechu trains at 11 p.m. Someone who broke up with comfort years ago. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Comfort feels amazing right now and destroys you quietly later. Discomfort feels terrible right now, but builds you into someone powerful later. Successful people aren't special. They just don't negotiate with comfort. Virat Kohli completely changed his lifestyle. He literally deleted junk food, late night fun, everything, because he wanted to become world class. Comfort wasn't allowed in his dressing room. Before 2026, you're not deleting comfort. You're deleting the version of you that chooses comfort over progress. The version of you that picks entertainment over education. The version of you that uses sleep as a coping mechanism. The version of you that says, I'll do it later, so many times that later becomes never. Your dreams are allergic to comfort. The moment you get too comfortable, your dreams start dying slowly like a phone on 1%. But if you delete this addiction to comfort, even just a little bit each day, something beautiful will happen. You will start becoming the person your future self will thank you for. Before 2026, delete your addiction to comfort, or comfort will delete your potential. Ladies and gentlemen, the second thing you must delete before 2026 is this poisonous habit of waiting for the perfect moment. Because let's be honest, half of us have been waiting for the right time for so long, the right time has probably blocked us and moved on with its life. You know how we are. We say, I'll start when things settle. My friend, things never settle. Tell me honestly, how many times have you said, I'll start when I feel ready? But But every time you feel ready, your brain says, actually, not today. It's like your brain is subscribed to Netflix. Auto delay on. Look around your life. Every dream you have right now is stuck behind one sentence. I'll start soon. But soon is the biggest liar in the world. Soon means next year. Soon means after you fix your life, which you haven't fixed in the last 10 years. Soon means never. And here's the funny part. You delay big dreams for the smallest nonsense. I'll start my diet after this wedding. I'll start studying after this drama finishes. I'll start saving after my cousin returns my $500, which he never will. You're basically planning your entire future around other people's weddings and your cousin's debt. The world doesn't wait for perfect moments. Nobody wakes up one day with everything sorted, the sun shining, birds singing, motivation dancing in your room. Life doesn't work like a motivational commercial. You think people who made it had perfect timing? No, they just stopped waiting. Think about the people you see around you who are doing well. Not famous people, just normal people. Your friend who started a small business with a used laptop. Your cousin who built a side hustle on their phone. Your coworker who learned a new skill while juggling a job. These people didn't wait for extra money, extra time, or extra motivation. They started in chaos. They succeeded in chaos. And you know what's even more universal? Every successful person has a cringe beginning. Their first video was awkward. Their first business plan looked like a 5-year-old wrote it. Their first gym session lasted 5 minutes before they fainted. Their first attempt was not perfect. It wasn't even close. But that's exactly why they got better. Because they started. Most people want to jump to level 10 without ever touching level 1. They want the results, not the process. They want the celebration, not the practice. They want the transformation, not the beginning. But beginnings are ugly. Beginnings are messy. Beginnings are uncomfortable. And that's why most people avoid them. You want to start posting content? Start with your shaky voice. You want to get fit? Start with your unfit body. You want to build confidence? Start with your zero confidence. You want to start a business? Start with a cheap phone and free apps. You want to get better at anything? Start before you're ready. Because ready is a myth. Nobody feels ready for the things that matter. Before 2026 arrives, you need to delete the idea that your life will magically arrange itself into a perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only a perfect excuse. Start today. Start imperfect. Start without a plan. Start with fear. Start quietly. Start embarrassed. Start unsure. Start tired. Start messy. But start, because one day you will look back and realize that the only wrong time was every moment you didn't take action. Ladies and gentlemen, the third thing you must delete before 2026 is this sneaky little habit that disguises itself as wisdom. But in reality, it's holding you back faster than a traffic jam in rush hour. And that habit is complaining instead of solving. Yeah, complaining. We all do it. You do it. I do it. Your neighbor does it. The guy selling coffee on the corner does it. Everybody does it. And yet complaining feels like action, doesn't it? It feels like we're doing something. I'm frustrated. I'm stressed. I'm angry. Congratulations. You just wasted 15 minutes of your life and you still have the same problem. And the examples are everywhere. We all know someone like this. The coworker who spends the entire day complaining about the boss, but doesn't apply for another job. The friend who complains about their body, but doesn't move an inch outside the gym or the kitchen. The person who complains about money, but spends 3 hours scrolling shopping apps. You know exactly who I'm talking about. That is comfort disguised as action, fear disguised as voice, and laziness disguised as I have opinions. Even worse, complaining is contagious. Once you start, everyone around you joins in. Suddenly you're in a group chat where everyone's main activity is whining about traffic, inflation, politics, and life. The energy is negative, the motivation is zero, and your goals are slowly evaporating while you're debating who has the worst life story. Here's a funny truth. Social media is basically a giant complaining simulator. We scroll through people complaining about their lives, and we get satisfaction because, hey, at least we're not them, right? But secretly, we're copying the habit. We scroll, we complain internally, we feel justified in doing nothing. By 2026, if we don't delete complaining, we'll be the generation that has excuses for everything and results for nothing. Now, let's look at people who actually delete complaining from their lives. Like your friend who started cooking at home instead of complaining about takeaway prices. Every week they post pictures of their food, and now they're healthier and richer than the people who just complained about food inflation. Or your cousin who hated their job, but instead of crying, started learning a skill on YouTube for 1 hour a day. Fast forward 6 months, they have clients, projects, and confidence, all because they stopped whining and started acting. Even students, the ones who complain about assignments, exams, or teachers, the ones who switch from complaints to action, even just a little, suddenly pass with flying colors. Complaining never solved a problem, but action always does. And the beautiful thing is, action doesn't need to be perfect. Small steps accumulate. Complaints, they evaporate into thin air and leave you right where you started. The point is simple. Before 2026, delete complaining from your life. Notice when you are whining, gossiping, or blaming the world. Stop talking about the problem. Start looking for the solution. Complaining is easy. Solving is hard. But easy doesn't change anything. Hard builds you. Easy makes you smaller. Hard makes your life bigger. Easy keeps you in the crowd. Hard makes you stand out. Before 2026, if you want to grow, if you want to leave average behind, delete complaining. Treat it like deleting a virus from your phone. Delete it, or it will slow your life down until you crash. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth thing you must delete before 2026 is this invisible trap that feels safe but slowly eats your life like termites in wood. And that trap is overthinking and self-doubt. Yes, overthinking, the little voice in your head that turns every small decision into a full-blown epic saga. It's like having a personal Bollywood director in your brain, adding unnecessary drama to everything. Should I post this video? Should I text them back? Should I start this project? And before you know it, hours have passed. Your brain is tired, and your life hasn't moved an inch. Let's be honest. Overthinking is universal. Everyone does it. You, me, your neighbor. That stranger in the elevator probably just imagined 100 ways the floor could collapse. Think about the relatable moments. Like choosing what to eat becomes a life-altering event. You open the fridge, stare at leftovers, think about calories, think about taste, think about your future health, think about the history of the dish, and somehow end up ordering pizza anyway. Congratulations! Your overthinking just wasted 20 minutes of your life and gave your wallet a workout. Even bigger things suffer. People overthink starting a business, moving to a new city, learning a new skill. What if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I waste time? My friend, the only thing that wastes time is overthinking. Not trying, not failing, not starting. Overthinking. And here's the universally funny truth. Social media made overthinking 1,000 times worse. Every day you scroll and see someone posting perfect lives, perfect meals, perfect vacations. And your brain goes, ah yes, I am clearly not doing enough. Let me analyze 50 ways I am failing before breakfast. Congratulations. You just spent an hour doing nothing and feeling miserable. Look at ordinary people who got it right. Your classmate who didn't overthink and just applied for that internship got it. Your friend who didn't overthink and started a YouTube channel with a phone and zero editing skills blew up. Your cousin who didn't overthink and asked someone out, now happily dating. None of them had perfect timing, perfect skills, or perfect plans. They just started. Imperfect, messy, scared, confused. But they started. Think about the barista who opened a tiny coffee shop in the neighborhood, even though everyone said it was impossible. No overthinking, just action. Today, they have a line out the door. Or the neighbor who started running 5 minutes a day despite being overweight and now runs marathons. Or the college kid who made a small website as a side project and eventually landed a dream job. None of them waited for perfect conditions. None of them paralyzed themselves with doubt. Here's the truth. Self-doubt is natural. Overthinking is optional. Before 2026, you must delete this habit. Stop talking yourself out of opportunities. Stop imagining 50 ways it can fail. Stop rehearsing your mistakes before they happen. Start messy. Start unsure. Start scared. Start imperfect. Because the perfect you who never overthinks, he doesn't exist. The perfect moment also doesn't exist. Delete overthinking. Delete self-doubt. Make small decisions fast. Take imperfect actions and learn along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, the fifth and final thing you must delete before 2026 is this invisible weight that's quietly holding you back even when you think everything else is under control. And this one is tricky because it wears the mask of responsibility or realism or being practical. But in reality, it's people-pleasing and seeking approval. Yes, the habit of worrying about what others think before doing anything meaningful. And let me tell you, nothing will kill your momentum faster than letting everyone else decide your life for you. We all do it. You know the feeling. You have a great idea, a small dream, or even a funny TikTok you want to post. But then you pause. What will people say? Will they judge me? What if my friends laugh? And suddenly the post isn't posted, the idea isn't launched, the moment isn't seized. Congratulations, you just turned potential into regret. And all for an audience that honestly isn't even paying attention. Look around. This habit is everywhere. Your friend who never shares their talent because people might laugh. Your cousin who doesn't start a business because family might criticize. Your neighbor who doesn't wear what they want because someone might gossip. And here's the kicker. Those people gossiping, half the time they're too busy worrying about themselves to even notice you. Even small things in life show how ridiculous this can get. You choose shoes based on compliments instead of comfort. You post pictures carefully cropped instead of authentic. You mute your opinions in meetings because someone might think you're too ambitious. Your life becomes a careful, filtered version of what others want instead of the wild, messy, exciting thing it could be. Here's the relatable, universal truth. People who succeed, whether in life, business, or just happiness, stop giving a flying thought to approval. Your favorite Instagram influencer didn't become famous because they asked for permission. That barista opening a tiny cafe didn't run a focus group for approval. The kid starting a podcast in their bedroom didn't get everyone's okay, they just started. Delete this habit before 2026. Stop waiting for validation. Stop curating your life to fit other people's opinions. Stop letting approval decide your actions. It's exhausting, it's unnecessary, and it is literally stealing years from you. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need everyone to understand, and you definitely don't need their permission to live the life you're meant to live. Imagine a life where you stop caring about the gossip, the side eye, the silent judgments. Imagine making bold choices, trying things, failing, laughing, and learning without ever asking for permission. That's the life you can have. A life where 2026 becomes a launch pad instead of another year of hesitation. So before 2026, delete comfort, delete waiting for the perfect moment, delete complaining, delete overthinking, and delete the obsession with other people's approval. That's 5 things. 5 invisible chains you're cutting from your life. Do this, and you won't just survive 2026, you'll transform it. You'll wake up every morning excited instead of anxious. You'll take action instead of waiting. You'll speak, create, build, and laugh freely. And the best part, you won't just be better. You'll be unstoppable. 2026 is coming. Delete these 5 things, and the world won't know what hit it. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a simple question. If I gave you 2 choices right now, choice A, win the lottery today, become a millionaire instantly. Choice B, improve yourself just 1% every single day for the next 5 years. Which one would you pick? Most people will say, of course the lottery. Who wants to wait 5 years? But here's the funny part. If you actually pick the lottery, chances are in 5 years you'll be broke again. If you pick self-improvement, you won't just have millions. You'll have the kind of mindset that creates millions again and again. See, success is never about the jackpot. It's about what you improve daily. Small things, tiny things, but consistent. Now let me tell you something. People like to ask me, what's the secret to success? And I always laugh because there is no big secret. The secret is actually boring. It's hidden in your daily habits. Think about it. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest basketball player because one day he scored 60 points. No, he became great because he spent thousands of days improving little things. His free throws, his footwork, his defense, even when no one was watching. And yet we live in a world where everyone is chasing shortcuts. We want success like instant noodles. Add hot water, wait 2 minutes, done. But life doesn't work like that. You need to improve a few things daily, and over time, you become unstoppable. So today, I want to share with you 5 things you must improve every single day if you really want to change your life. Not tomorrow, not next month, daily. And the first thing is this. Improve your clarity. You see, most people wake up in the morning and have no idea why they are alive. They check their phone, they scroll, they eat, they go to work, and then complain life is boring. My friend, if you live like that, you're not living, you're just existing. Clarity means knowing what you want. Every single day you must improve your clarity about your goals, your direction, your values. Think about it. Would you ever get in a taxi, sit down, and when the driver asks where to, you reply, just drive anywhere? No. But this is exactly how many people live their life. Driving fast but with no destination. Do you know what Einstein once said? He said, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. The same goes for your life. If you can't explain what you want in one sentence, you don't understand your own dream well enough. So here's a funny exercise you can try tonight. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? If your answer sounds like, because everyone else is doing it, congratulations, you've just discovered why you're stuck. Improving clarity means cutting out the noise. It means knowing what's important and ignoring what isn't. Steve Jobs was famous for wearing the same black turtleneck every day. Why? Because he didn't want to waste energy deciding what to wear. He wanted clarity. He saved his brain power for the things that mattered. So my friend, the first thing you must improve daily is your clarity. Write down your goals every morning. Review them every night. Ask yourself, am I moving closer to what I want, or am I just moving? Because remember this, motion is not progress. A rocking horse moves all day, but it doesn't go anywhere. Don't be the rocking horse. Now that you understand the power of improving your clarity every single day, let's talk about the second thing you must improve daily. And this one separates dreamers from doers. Improve your discipline. Listen carefully. Motivation is useless without discipline. Yes, I said it. Motivation is like sugar. It gives you energy for a moment, but then it fades. Discipline is like oxygen. It keeps you alive even when you don't feel like breathing. Here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Most people don't fail because they're not smart enough. They fail because they can't stay consistent long enough. Think about it. How many times have you started something with excitement? I'm going to the gym every day. I'm going to read 30 minutes a day. I'm starting a business this year. And 2 weeks later, you're watching TV with a bag of chips, telling yourself, I'll start again on Monday. We laugh, but we've all done it. That's why discipline is a daily practice, not a one-time decision. Let me tell you a story. Elon Musk once said that when he was building SpaceX, he slept on the factory floor and showered at the office. Why? Because rockets don't care about your mood. They care about math, precision, and discipline. And when Tesla was near bankruptcy, he didn't say, I'm not feeling inspired today. He showed up every single day. That's discipline. Here's the hard truth. If you only work hard when you feel like it, you'll never achieve anything beyond average. Let me give you an example everyone can relate to. Imagine you brush your teeth only when you're motivated. Some weeks, you'd have perfect hygiene. Other weeks, your mouth would be a disaster. Success works the same way. It's about showing up even when you don't want to. Now, how do you improve discipline daily? Start with micro promises. Tell yourself, I will read 2 pages today. Do it. I will work out for 10 minutes. Do it. I will wake up 10 minutes earlier. Do it. The size doesn't matter. The consistency does. Once you train your brain to keep small promises, it starts trusting you with bigger ones. Another powerful trick, make discipline easier than distraction. For example, if you want to read more, leave a book on your pillow. If you want to work out, pack your gym clothes the night before. If you want to stop wasting time on your phone, put it in another room while you work. Discipline is not about being a robot. It's about designing your environment to make good decisions automatic. And let me say this loud and clear. Discipline is more valuable than talent. I've seen average people outwork geniuses simply because they kept going when others quit. There's a saying I love, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So if you ever feel like you're not talented enough, not smart enough, not lucky enough, good. Because none of that matters if you have discipline. And here's the funny twist. Once discipline becomes a habit, it stops feeling like discipline. It just becomes part of who you are. People will look at you and say, wow, you're so motivated. But you'll know the truth. It's not motivation. It's discipline built day by day, brick by brick. So remember this. Clarity tells you where you're going. Discipline makes sure you actually get there. So we talked about clarity, knowing where you're going. We talked about discipline, doing the work even when you don't feel like it. Now let's talk about the third thing you must improve daily. Improve your communication. Listen carefully. Your ideas, your talents, your dreams, they mean nothing if you can't express them. How many times have you seen someone less talented, less qualified, even less hardworking, but they still got the promotion, the deal, or the recognition? Why? Because they knew how to communicate. The sad truth is, the world doesn't reward the best ideas. The world rewards the ideas that are communicated the best. Now, don't confuse communication with talking a lot. Some people think if they talk non-stop, they're great communicators. No, no, no. That's called annoying. Communication is about being clear, being confident, and being human. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're in a restaurant, and the waiter comes over. You ask, "What's good here?" And the waiter says, everything is good, maybe the chicken, but the fish is also okay. But some people like the pasta. By the time they finish, you've lost your appetite. Now imagine another waiter says, "Sir, if you want something light, take the grilled salmon. If you're hungry, take the steak, best in town." Boom. Clear, confident, done. That's communication. And let's be honest, most of us are terrible communicators. We use too many words, we go in circles, or we talk only about ourselves. Improving communication daily means practicing the art of connecting with people. Here's a trick you can start using today. Learn to tell stories. People don't remember data. They remember stories. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't say, "I have a strategic plan." He said, "I have a dream." And it moved a nation. Another trick, listen more than you talk. Great communicators aren't great because they speak beautifully. They're great because they make others feel heard. Think about the last conversation where someone actually listened to you with full attention. Didn't you feel amazing? That's the power of communication. Now here's a funny truth. Most of us are more afraid of public speaking than we are of death. Surveys show that at a funeral, most people would rather be in the coffin than giving the speech. But the only way to beat that fear is practice. Communicate daily. Speak up in meetings. Share your ideas, even if your voice shakes. Every time you practice, your fear shrinks and your confidence grows. And remember this, improving communication isn't just about speeches or business. It's about life. Your relationships, your friendships, your career, all rise or fall based on how you communicate. Think of it like this. Clarity gives you direction. Discipline keeps you walking. But communication opens the doors along the way. So every day, improve how you speak, how you listen, and how you connect. Because the people who change the world are not just the ones with big ideas. They're the ones who can share those ideas in a way that makes others believe. So we've covered clarity, discipline, and communication. Now comes the fourth thing you must improve every single day. Improve your emotional control. Let me ask you this. Have you ever sent a text message when you were angry and then later wished you could invent a time machine just to delete it? Yeah, me too. Here's the truth. A lack of emotional control has destroyed more relationships, more businesses, and more careers than lack of talent ever has. Think about it. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you can't manage your anger, your fear, your jealousy, or your stress, you'll make stupid decisions. Even the greatest leaders in history were not the strongest or the most intelligent. They were the ones who could stay calm in chaos. Look at sports. Remember when Serena Williams lost a big match and the media criticized her reaction? People didn't judge her talent, they judged her emotional control. Because emotions are louder than skills. Let me give you another example. Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times trying to invent the light bulb. If he had lost his patience after attempt number 50, today you and I would probably still be sitting in the dark, holding candles and arguing about whose turn it is to buy more matches. Emotional control is not about never feeling upset, never feeling scared, never feeling jealous. No. It's about learning to respond instead of react. Here's a simple daily practice. When something upsets you, don't reply immediately. Don't shout immediately. Don't act immediately. Pause, breathe, count to 10. Sometimes that tiny pause saves your job, your friendship, or even your marriage. Another trick, protect your energy. If you hang out with people who complain all day, you'll start complaining all day. If you scroll social media for hours, comparing your life with everyone else's highlights, you'll feel miserable. Improve your emotional control by controlling your environment. And here's a funny thought. When you argue with a fool, From far away, people can't tell who is who. So sometimes the smartest thing you can do is simply walk away. Daily improvement in emotional control means training your brain the same way you train your body. You don't go to the gym once and say, okay, I'm fit forever. No, you exercise daily. Same with your emotions. Every day, practice patience, practice gratitude, practice letting small things go. Someone cuts you off in traffic? Don't spend the next hour screaming inside your car. Just smile and say, thank you for teaching me self-control, my friend. Because here's the truth. The stronger your emotional control, the less power the world has over you. And the less power the world has over you, the freer you become. So remember, clarity tells you where to go. Discipline keeps you moving. Communication opens doors. But emotional control makes sure you don't burn the whole house down while you're walking through those doors. So far, we've talked about 4 powerful things to improve daily: clarity, discipline, communication, and emotional control. Now comes the 5th and final one. And without this, everything else collapses. Improve your ability to learn and adapt. Let me ask you something. If you kept using the same phone from 2005, would you survive today? Imagine trying to install TikTok on a Nokia 3310. Impossible. Yet many people are trying to run their lives and careers on mental software that hasn't been updated in years. The world is changing every single day. If you don't learn and adapt, you get left behind. Simple as that. Remember Kodak? They once dominated photography, but they refused to adapt to digital cameras. Gone. Remember Blockbuster? They laughed at Netflix. Gone. The lesson is clear. It's not the strongest who survive, it's the ones who adapt the fastest. And here's the funny thing. Most people think learning stops after school. They graduate, throw their books away, and say finally, no more studying. But life doesn't work like that. The real exam starts the day you leave school, and it never ends. Every single day, you must improve your knowledge, your skills, your perspective. Read, listen, observe, ask questions, try new things. Even if it's just 10 minutes a day, learn something new. Because the more you learn, the more valuable you become. And the more adaptable you are, the harder it is for life to break you. Think of bamboo. It bends with the wind but doesn't break. That's adaptability. Strong, flexible, unstoppable. Be like bamboo. Here's a practical tip. Every night, ask yourself, what did I learn today that I didn't know yesterday? If the answer is nothing, then the day was wasted. And don't just learn from books, learn from people, from mistakes, from failures, from your own experiences. Mistakes are expensive lessons, but they are also the ones that stick forever. Now let me wrap this up. If you improve these 5 things daily, clarity of your goals, discipline to take action, communication to connect with people, emotional control to stay balanced, and learning to keep growing, then, I promise you, 5 years from now, you will look back and not even recognize the person you used to be. Because success is not one giant leap. It is thousands of small steps taken daily in the right direction. So don't chase shortcuts. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start improving today, even if it's just 1%. Because one day, people will look at you and say, wow, you changed your entire life, and you'll smile. Because you'll know the truth. It wasn't one big change. It was 5 small improvements made every single day. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends. Do you know what the biggest lie is? That success takes years. No. My friend, success takes 5 months of clarity. But only if you stop living the same 5 years over and over again. So today, I want to show you something different. A real 5-month plan. Not a plan that lives in your notebook, but a plan that wakes you up at 6 a.m. with fire in your chest. Let's begin. You ever wonder why your life looks the same every year? Same job, same habits, same excuses. Yet every January you say, this year, I'll change. But then February comes and you're back to the same routine. Let me tell you something real. The biggest reason most people never succeed isn't lack of opportunity. It's lack of honesty. They lie to themselves beautifully. I'm trying. I'm waiting for the right time. I'll start soon. My friend, the right time never comes. You don't need a new year. You need a new attitude. The first month of your 5-month success plan is about one thing: brutal honesty. The kind that makes you uncomfortable. The kind that forces you to face the mirror and admit, I am the reason my life isn't moving. People can fight the world, but they can't fight their own excuses. Someone once told me, I feel stuck. I said, no, you're not stuck. You're scared. Scared of change. Scared of failing. Scared of being laughed at. But you know what's scarier? Staying the same for the next 10 years. If you want to grow, you have to break your comfort. You can't have a new life with old habits. And stop blaming others. My boss doesn't promote me. My parents don't support me. My city has no opportunities. The day you stop blaming is the day your life begins. When you blame, you hand your power away. When you own your problems, you get power back. If your job sucks, learn a skill. If your friends waste your time, find new company. If nobody believes in you, let their doubt fuel your fire. You don't lose because of lack of talent. You lose because you waste time. Let's be real. How many hours do you scroll on your phone every day? Multiply it by 30 days. That's your dream dying in slow motion. 3 hours a day means 90 hours a month, 1,000 hours a year. You could build a business in that time. You could change your life. The successful people don't have extra hours. They just don't waste them. And stop saying, I'm not motivated. You don't need motivation. You need clarity. If I ask, what do you want in life? Most people say, I just want to be successful. That's not a goal. That's a wish. Define it. What kind of success? Money, freedom, peace. Once you know exactly what you want and why you want it, motivation takes care of itself. You wake up ready. You stop snoozing. You start moving. One simple exercise. Tonight, no phone, no noise, just you and your thoughts. Ask yourself 3 questions. What do I want in the next 5 months? Why do I want it? And what am I ready to give up for it? Write the answers down. That list will change your life faster than any self-help book. And the way you talk to yourself, it matters. You keep saying, I'm lazy, and your brain believes it. Say, I'm learning discipline. You say, I can't do this. Say, I'll figure it out. You're building your future every time you open your mouth. So speak like someone who's going somewhere. I once knew a man who kept saying, I have no opportunities. His friend told him, then create one. He laughed, but that night he couldn't sleep. The next day, he started learning online. 5 months later, he was earning more than the job that rejected him. He didn't wait for luck. He built it. One honest day at a time. So here's my challenge for you. This month, be brutally honest with yourself. Audit your time. Write your goals. Stop saying one day, because one day isn't a real date. Today is. The moment you stop lying to yourself, your 5-month success plan truly begins. And trust me, if you can survive the first month with honesty, you've already beaten most people out there. This is where your story starts. You know what separates the people who keep dreaming from the ones who actually win? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's hunger to learn. The second month of your 5-month success plan is all about feeding that hunger, learning like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Most people stop learning the moment school ends. They get a job, learn the minimum, and press repeat for years. Then they wonder why life feels the same. My friend, the world changes every 6 months. If you stop learning, the world doesn't wait for you. It replaces you. I once met a guy who said, I don't have time to learn new things. I asked him, how many hours do you watch Netflix? He said, around 2 hours a day. I smiled and said, congratulations, you just found time. It's never about time, it's about priorities. You find time for what matters to you. This month, replace at least 1 hour of entertainment with education. 1 hour a day for 30 days. That's 30 hours. You can finish 2 books, a whole online course, or master a new skill in that time. Imagine doing that for 5 months. That's a new version of you. Learning isn't boring if you link it to your dream. If you want to start a business, learn sales, marketing, communication. If you want freedom, learn how money works. If you want confidence, learn how people think. Every skill you learn adds a brick to your dream. The funny part is, most people say, I don't know where to start. You're living in the easiest time in history to learn anything. You can learn from the best people in the world for free. YouTube, podcasts, books, even short clips on your phone. But most people would rather scroll through drama than study how to change their own story. Don't be one of them. Be the person who turns curiosity into power. Read when others sleep. Listen when others gossip. Ask questions that make people think. Curiosity turns average people into experts. Let me tell you a story. There was a delivery boy who loved tech videos. Every night after work, he would watch tutorials instead of wasting time online. In 6 months, he learned basic coding. In a year, he built his own small app. Today, he earns more than his old boss. He didn't have a degree. He had curiosity and YouTube. The point is simple. When you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, life stops rewarding you. If you don't upgrade yourself, the world will downgrade your value. People often ask, what if I fail while learning? My answer, fail fast. Fail forward. Failure in learning is not real failure, it's tuition. You're paying life to teach you. Every mistake teaches you something school never did. You must also learn one more skill, the skill of focus. Learning doesn't mean jumping from topic to topic. Pick one direction, go deep, and get good at it. Mastery gives confidence. Dipping your toes in 10 things gives confusion. And remember, when you start learning something new, you'll look stupid at first. Everyone does. Don't worry. Looking stupid for a few weeks is better than staying broke for a lifetime. Every expert was once an amateur who didn't quit after looking silly. I'll tell you what to do this month. Choose one skill connected to your dream. Write it down, then commit 1 hour a day to it. Use every free minute in buses, at lunch, before bed to feed your brain. Keep a notebook or a notes app just for learning. Track what you learn each day. After 30 days, you'll have more knowledge, more confidence, and more direction than you've ever had before. And the best part, learning gives you something most people never feel, momentum. When you start learning, your mind wakes up. You start seeing ideas everywhere. You begin to feel alive again. So in this second month, stop waiting for opportunities and start preparing for them. The world doesn't reward the most talented person. It rewards the most prepared. And learning is the ultimate preparation. Give yourself permission to be a student again. Because the moment you stop learning, your 5-month success plan stops working. But if you keep learning like crazy, nothing in the world can stop you. Let's be honest. Everyone loves planning, but very few love doing. The 3rd month is where most people quit. Not because it's hard, but because it's boring. The excitement fades, the motivation drops, and reality kicks in. This month is where your dream either dies or starts breathing. You've been honest with yourself in month 1. You've learned new things in month 2. Now, it's time to do something about it. Because knowledge without action is just a fancy form of procrastination. You can't think your way to success. You have to move your way there. When I started working years ago, I used to write long lists, goals, steps, routines, all perfect on paper. But nothing changed. Then one day I realized plans don't build success. Consistent action does. Even a small action, repeated daily, beats a perfect plan that never starts. Execution is not about speed. It's about direction and consistency. Imagine trying to push a car that's stuck. The first few seconds take all your strength. But once it starts moving, it gets easier. That's how execution feels. The first few weeks are heavy. You'll doubt yourself, you'll feel lazy, and you'll want to quit. But once you get momentum, it becomes addictive. Let's talk about a big trap, overthinking. Some people plan so much that they never start. They want everything perfect before they begin. But here's the truth. Perfection is just another name for fear. You don't need perfect conditions. You need courage to start. Start messy. Start scared. Just start. A young man once asked me, what if I make mistakes? I told him, you will. Everyone does. The only difference is, successful people learn from mistakes while others run from them. Mistakes are proof that you're moving. You can fix mistakes. You can't fix doing nothing. This month, your focus is one word, execution. Don't read 10 more books. Don't watch 10 more motivational videos. Take what you've already learned and apply it. If you learned communication, talk to people. If you learned marketing, post your first ad. If you learned coding, build something small. Turn your knowledge into movement and stop chasing motivation every day. Motivation is like coffee. It wakes you up for a while, but you need discipline to stay awake. Make discipline your best friend, because when you're tired, lazy, or uninspired, discipline is the only thing that will carry you forward. Here's a rule. Do one uncomfortable thing every day. Send that message. Make that call. Record that video. Talk to that client. The magic is always hiding in discomfort. Once you make a habit of doing uncomfortable things, fear starts losing its power over you. You'll face resistance. People will doubt you. Some will laugh, some will ignore you. That's good. If no one doubts you, you're not doing anything worth noticing. Silence your critics with results, not arguments. Let me share a small example. A friend of mine wanted to start a small business. He had the plan ready for 6 months but never launched because he was still preparing. One day, he just decided enough thinking. He launched. The first week he failed. The second week he improved. The third week he made his first sale. 6 months later, he was making more than his job. The turning point wasn't a strategy, it was a decision to execute. So this month, forget about being perfect. Focus on being consistent. Show up every day. Do something that moves the needle. 1 hour a day with focus can change your life faster than you think. And when it gets tough, because it will remind yourself why you started, think about the person you promised to become. You owe it to that version of yourself, because execution is where dreams start walking. Talk less, do more, complain less, improve more. Think less, act more. That's how month 3 turns effort into momentum. You ever notice that right when things start getting better, life suddenly hits you harder? That's not a coincidence. The moment you begin to move forward, the universe tests how badly you actually want it. Month 4 is that test. The pressure month, the make or break stage of your journey. When you start seeing small results, 2 things happen. 1, you get excited. 2, life throws chaos at you. Unexpected problems, criticism, delays, even self-doubt. You'll wonder, why now? Why? When I'm finally trying. But that's how growth works. The test always comes after the lesson. Most people quit here. Not because they can't win, but because they misread pressure. They think pressure means I'm not ready. No. Pressure means you're almost there. Every big change comes with resistance. The same way a rocket shakes the hardest right before it breaks free from gravity, your life shakes hardest right before a breakthrough. You will feel tired. You'll have days when your mind says, what's the point? You'll feel invisible. You'll think no one notices your effort. But let me tell you something. The world always notices eventually. You just have to last long enough to be seen. This month, you'll feel the weight of discipline. You'll feel the loneliness of growth. You'll see friends who started with you stop halfway. Don't follow them, keep walking. Because the moment you slow down to comfort others, you lose your own rhythm. Pressure also reveals your weaknesses, your patience, your mindset, your focus. Don't panic when that happens. Pressure is not your enemy, it's your mirror. It shows you what still needs to grow. Use it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it means you're expanding. Growth is never comfortable. Let me tell you about a small restaurant owner I once met. When his business started growing, he got overwhelmed. New orders, new customers, new problems. He almost shut down. But instead, he took a deep breath and learned to manage pressure instead of running from it. A year later, he opened his second branch. He told me, the growth didn't kill me. My fear almost did. That's the truth for all of us. Fear of pressure kills more dreams than failure ever could. When you feel pressure, remind yourself it means you're being trusted with more. Bigger responsibilities only come to people who can handle them. And yes, you'll fail a few times this month. You'll miss a day. You'll make a bad decision. That's okay. Just don't make the same mistake twice. Adjust, adapt, move on. Success is not a straight line. It's a zigzag of chaos, lessons, and tiny wins. Most people want success to feel easy, but nothing worth having ever feels easy at first. Remember, diamonds are made under pressure, not comfort. So this month, your job is simple. Don't break. When everything feels heavy, remind yourself why you started. When people doubt you, remind yourself that they doubted everyone who ever made history. When your plan fails, build a new one. But don't stop. Because if you survive this month, something powerful happens. You stop chasing discipline, it becomes a part of you. Your habits become automatic. Your self-belief becomes natural. And suddenly, you realize you're no longer trying to succeed. You're becoming success itself. Keep your head down, keep your heart strong, and keep moving. Pressure doesn't destroy the strong. It forges them. Look at you. You made it to month 5. Most people quit in month 1. Others disappeared in month 3. But you're still here, still standing. Maybe tired, maybe bruised, but still fighting. And that's exactly why this month is special. This is the transformation month. This is where the small wins turn into big results. The habits you forced yourself to build now feel natural. The things that scared you now excite you. You wake up and realize you've changed. Not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. This final month isn't about chasing more. It's about mastering what you've built. When you start getting results, don't get arrogant. Stay humble, stay hungry. The same consistency that got you here will take you higher. People forget that success is not a moment, it's a lifestyle. You'll notice something funny around this time. The people who once doubted you will start calling you lucky. They won't see the nights you cried, the mornings you didn't feel like moving, the failures you kept quiet about. Let them call it luck. You know it's discipline. Now something deeper happens in this stage. You start to outgrow certain people, certain habits, even certain dreams. Don't resist it. Transformation always requires shedding the old version of you. You can't carry your past and your future at the same time. Let go of what no longer serves you. 5 months ago, you might have been confused, scared, or lost. But every day you showed up, even when no one was watching. And that's what separates dreamers from doers. Most people wait to feel ready. You didn't. You just started. And that one decision changed everything. Now it's time to solidify your momentum. Take what you've learned and teach it to someone else. Because when you teach, you grow twice. Share your lessons, your failures, your journey. Not to brag, but to inspire. Because the world doesn't need more talkers. It needs examples. Let me tell you the truth. Success is not the cars, the money, or the applause. Success is waking up with peace. Success is knowing you kept your promise to yourself. Success is looking in the mirror and saying, I didn't quit on me. That's real victory. But this isn't the end. It's the beginning of your next level. The 5-month plan isn't magic. It's a system that awakens the best version of you. Now every new challenge you face will feel different because you'll face it with strength, not fear. Remember this. 5 months of effort can change 5 years of your life. If you can stay consistent, learn endlessly, execute fearlessly, and rise under pressure, you can rewrite your story no matter where you started. So as you finish this journey, take a deep breath and say to yourself, I'm not done, I'm just getting started. Because the world hasn't even seen your full potential yet. And when they do, they'll realize the person they once ignored became the person they now admire. Keep growing, keep learning, keep executing, and never, ever forget, 5 months of discipline can do what 5 years of dreaming never will. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.